Hello, grade 6 learners. Today, we will be learning about friction, its nature and how it affects the motion of objects. Enjoy your learning journey. At the end of this lesson, you are expected to infer how friction and gravity affect the movements of different objects. Identify the type of friction that affects the movement of the objects. So, what is friction? Friction is a force that opposes motion and acts in a direction opposite to the motion of the moving object. Friction is produced when two surfaces rub each other. Friction produces heat. All objects moving on a specific surface stop at different rates because of an opposing force called friction. Friction is the force that opposes motion. It causes an object that moves along a surface to slow down and eventually stop. There are two factors determine the amount of friction. This is the kind of surface and the force pressing the surfaces together. You might have noticed that your hands feel warm when you rub them together for a few seconds. Friction is responsible for generating warmth in your hands. When two hands come in contact and are rubbed against each other, there is some amount of resistance which comes into play. However, if you just put your hands together, there will be no resistance, hence, no amount of friction. The action of scraping the surface of your skin back and forth against each other causes the molecules in your skin to move a little faster. The temperature will increase when the molecules move faster. This is the reason so as to why your hands are warm when you rub them together. You might see the examples of friction in everyday life in the screen. It is a sled sliding across snow or ice. Another example is a person sliding down on a slide. Friction affects the motion of an object. Friction may slow the car down as it moves along the road. Friction holds your shoe to the ground so you can walk around. The frictional force is created when the tip of a pen or pencil is brought in contact with the surface of the paper. Another example is the lighting matchsticks. The head of a matchstick contains inflammable chemicals. The head of a matchstick contains sulfur, red phosphorus, glass powder, and an oxidizing agent. When a matchstick is rubbed against a rough surface, some amount of heat is generated, and this heat is sufficient for the conversion of red phosphorus to white phosphorus. Since white phosphorus is highly inflammable, a matchstick ignites. The matchsticks usually fail to ignite because water lowers friction. Types of friction. Rolling friction. Rolling friction is the frictional force associated with the rotational movement of a wheel or other circular objects along a surface. Example of rolling friction. It slows down a ball rolling on a surface, and it slows down the motion of tire rolling in the surface. Sliding friction. Sliding friction is also called as dry friction. It occurs when two objects rub against each other. Example of sliding friction. When a man is pushing an object on a rough surface, the force acting is called sliding friction. Fluid friction. Fluid friction is the friction between a solid object and the liquid or gas moving in it. Example of fluid friction. It slows down the motion of airplane flying in the air. Here the engine of the airplane helps the plane to overcome the fluid friction and move forward. Static friction. Static friction occurs in stationary objects. It prevents an object from moving against a surface. Example of static friction. Static friction prevents an object like a book from falling off the desk, even if the desk is slightly tilted. Now, you learned and understand about friction, its nature and how it affects the motion of objects. So let's try to do the initial activity in this lesson. Am I useful or not? Infer how friction and gravity affect the movement of different objects. Draw thumbs up if desirable and thumbs down if undesirable. Write your answer in your notebook. Number 1. Does the picture shows desirable or undesirable? The answer is thumbs up. Desirable. Number 2. How about this picture? Does it shows desirable or undesirable? Correct. The answer is thumbs down. Undesirable. How about in number 3? Does it shows desirable or undesirable? Yes, it's thumbs up. Desirable. Number 4. Does it shows desirable or undesirable? Very good. It's thumbs down. Undesirable. Number 5. Does it shows desirable or undesirable? The answer is thumbs down. Undesirable. Now, I'm pretty sure you can perform well the next activity. I know you can do it alone. In Activity 1, look at me. Identify the type of friction that affects the movement of the objects as shown in the illustration. Write RF for rolling friction, SF for sliding friction, FF for fluid friction and ST for static friction. Activity 2. Infer me. Infer and draw a star on the blank if the effects of friction to object and people is desirable and a triangle if it is undesirable. Number 1. Lighting a matchstick. Number 2. Pushing a furniture. Number 3. Using the brakes when approaching a stoplight. Number 4. Causing wear and tear of car tires. Number 5. Holding a ball while playing. Activity 3. Describe me. Write true if it describes friction and false if not. Write the answer in your notebook. Number 1. Friction is a force. Number 2. Rubbing or touching two surfaces produce friction. Number 3. Friction is important in our daily lives. Number 4. Rough surfaces have less friction. Number 5. Friction is produced when objects are in contact with each other. Number 6. Friction is much present on rocky or rough road. Number 7. Heat is produced by friction. Number 8. It is easier to pull an object with more friction. Number 9. Pushing a cart does not involve friction. Number 10. Due to friction, a moving object slows down. Remember, life would be impossible without friction. We use friction in most of our activities. You would be able to walk without slipping and falling without friction. Friction affects different objects too. Without friction, you would not be able to write because your pencil would slip off the surface of the paper you are writing on. Friction is a force that opposes motion between two surfaces sticking or touching together. The kinds of friction are rolling friction, sliding friction, fluid friction, and static friction. Friction has desirable and undesirable effects. The desirable effects of friction allow us to grip or hold things. It also helps people convert one form of motion into another, and it converts some energy into heat. The undesirable effects of friction make objects difficult to move continuously. It also converts some energy into heat, noise, and causes wear and tear on materials. The type of a surface increases or decreases the distance traveled by moving objects. Smooth surface allows the object to travel greater distance due to lesser frictional force. Conversely, rough surface has greater frictional force. This is the reason why ramps, sidewalks, and roads are not overly smoothened so as to allow traction and increase friction. Wow! You're about to finish the lesson. Please try to answer the last activity in the evaluation. Read each item carefully, choose the letter of the best answer. Write the answer in your notebook. Number 1. What do you call the force that opposes motion? A. Friction. B. Magnetic. C. Applied. D. Gravity. Number 2. Which of the following statements is not true about friction? A. Friction can be static or kinetic. B. Friction is a contact force. C. Friction speeds up motion of objects. D. Friction resists motion. Number 3. Which of the following has the strongest type of friction? A. Sliding. B. Rolling. C. Kinetic. D. Static. Number 4. In which of the following conditions, friction is increased? A. Applying floor wax on the floor. B. Putting lubricants on the chains of motorcycle. C. Applying oil on a surface of a table. D. Presence of spikes on motorcycle wheels. Number 5. The type of friction occurs in stationary objects. It prevents an object from moving against a surface. A. Static friction. B. Fluid friction. C. Rolling friction. D. Sliding friction. Number 6. A boy sits on a grassy slope. What force stops him sliding down? A. Friction. B. Magnetic. C. Gravity. D. Weight. Number 7. What makes a rolling ball slow down and stop? A. Air resistance. B. Brake. C. Friction. D. Gravity. Number 8. Which of the following does not involve any friction? A. A bicycle rolling down a hill. B. A baseball player sliding into second base. C. A girl waving her hands. D. All of the above experience friction. Number 9. How is brake useful? A. It uses friction to make vehicle to move faster. B. It slows down a moving vehicle. C. It moves the vehicle in any direction. D. It moves the vehicle safely. Number 10. Which of the following is the easiest way to move the refrigerator from one place of your house to another? Through the use of blank. A. Lubricants. B. Oil or grease. C. Wheels or rollers. D. Though pushing and pulling. Key answers. You may check your work here from Activity 1 to Activity 3 except your output under evaluation. Your output in the evaluation should be submitted to your teacher for checking and record purposes. At last, you have successfully completed the lesson. Congratulations!